We are live. Hey there. Hey there, Anthony.
Hey, what's going on, Lisa?
Nothing much. I am Lisa J. Stocks, and today I am dual streaming with Anthony from the About That Wallet podcast. Anthony, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Lisa, for such a great intro. So so about myself, I am the host of the About That Wallet podcast show, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits so that they can spend money, talk about money, and enjoy their money with confidence.
Okay. We've been through it before, but maybe at the end we'll come back to that. What is the sandwich generation for those who don't know? Because you just throw that around like we all know all about it. But
Yes. Oh,
go ahead.
the sandwich generation are people who are anywhere between the ages of, I would say, about 33 to about 56 to 60. And what that means is that they actually are taking care of their children and also a caretaker for their parents. So think about it that way.
Okay, all right. So today I wanted to chat a bit about just stock market news since my last episode that I did last Sunday. Updates on the tariffs a little bit, but then our main topic is talking about our 2025 investing strategy, how we've been managing this month after Liberation Day, as well as this year, this administration, just in general. So, first, let's talk a little bit about the tariff news headlines that we've been seeing lately.
Yeah,
Um,
that's been interesting.
yes. So, Liberation Day, the day that Trump was announcing the tariffs and what he planned, that happened at the beginning of the month, around the 2nd of April. And we saw the stock market drop drastically in the days following, the 3rd, the 4th, and even more on the 7th and 8th, last Monday and Tuesday. So then we saw a huge shift because on Wednesday afternoon, he announced a 90-day global tariff pause, and the stock market got a nice little rebound. What were your thoughts on that? Were you like surprised? I know the people that knew ahead of time that that was coming made out well, uh, unlike those, but I made out in my own way, which we're going to touch on when we get to talking about our portfolios. But what were your thoughts when you first saw that headline about the 90-day pause?
First off, I wasn't shocked
Mhm.
because I had a feeling that this was coming. Only because of what happened earlier in the year when he pushed back the tariffs on Mexico for the
Mhm.
first time. But now that he's going international, this is actually not, surprising to me. So when I saw that the market was going down and everybody was freaking out because of the potential of this happening, of not this meaning that he's going to just allow it to be open, but more so about, hey, the stock market is on sale. This is the best time to get in. So I was like, let me look at my stocks to see how they're going. But all my stocks were actually going up. So it didn't really impact me too much when that happened.
Okay. Well, my story is going to be a little bit different, but let me give some clarity to what I was
Okay.
saying though. This 90-day pause is on most countries, but he hit China even harder. They are up to 145% tariff, and that
45?
145.
Wow.
And this is a company that we are heavily reliant on. So this is basically still leaving us in the place where it looks like there is the high chance of the global recession finally hitting us. And another headline that has hit since my last update that we were chatting live about last Sunday is that just came out this weekend is that there's going to be an exemption when it comes to phones, computers, and chips. And so want to make sure to touch on that because that could bring good news for some investments in my portfolio like Apple and Nvidia. I don't hold Dell, but companies in, in that line because it's been seen that it's going to take a greater time for them to get manufacturing shifted here, supposedly,
Right.
which is what's impacting this exemption for these few items. But I'm also a few weeks ago I did a another episode where I was chatting through all of the different potential ways that there's kind of no way to get around being impacted by the tariffs because so many, if not the entire component, some component of what we are using on an everyday basis contains lots of pieces from outside of the US. So,
Yeah,
with
that
me,
is. Could I just throw something in there because a lot of the things that China was even imposing was saying is like, hey, since you want to put this high percentage on our goods,
mhm,
we control a lot of you guys' IPs, so intellectual property, and because of that, China would actually dwindle down the quality of the products that they were reselling or quote unquote bootlegging to the point where it doesn't infringe on their IP. But they have all the molds, majority of the molds, I would say, because some of the US companies do have China produce the molds, and the molds cost about like $10,000 to create and actually ship back to the US. And then you can take that mold and give it to another manufacturing company here in the US to actually produce the product in mass production. So having that understanding is like, what's next? And that's what I'm curious to see in the coming months.
mhm. So it's not just that though. It's about the labor and the facilities and all the other pieces. So what do you think about the big picture of that being incorporated with not just, what you're explaining there?
Yeah. So when it comes to the manufacturing side of the house, who is really going to pay for that? One, it takes, how long it takes to even build a house. Like if the weather's nice,
Mm,
it could take about like 4 to 6 months. Like you're talking about a warehouse with brick, mortar. You're talking about cinder blocks. You're doing more of a stabler structure to actually handle the weight of the product. So seeing all of that happening, this is going to be a wild ride. Considering how long it will take, I'm thinking at least about 3 to 4 years, even before you start seeing the manufacturing companies come. But
mhm.
also, there's the land and the property is going to be cheap if the way how things are going when you slow down the market, so that they can get the loans a lot cheaper, so they can get the land, they can buy some of these old ran down properties, or even look at some of the housing that's in that area that could actually go for sale. So these are the things that I think could definitely impact us in the short term, but definitely hitting us into the next term, the next president term, to see which
Yeah.
companies are going to stay here.
Yeah. But yeah, I was mentioning even regular jobs like
Mm.
not non-manufacturing, for example, like working at Costco. I've seen in headlines that they pay $31. Some local Wendy's are paying $20 an hour. So, how much are these manufacturing jobs going to be paying? And then, obviously, the cost is going to be passed on to us. Is just
Yeah,
all the elements of what you're sharing. There's just so many different things that are of course not going to be able to be absorbed by these companies. They're
yeah.
going to down to us.
I've asked a lot of my coworkers will they take half price of what they're currently making in order to make ends meet to pay the bills that they have at home. They at first said no, but then they thought about it. They said yes. So, when you're in a pinch and you really need to put food on the table, a lot of
Mhm.
people would downgrade themselves far as value so that they can actually pay for their housing, their expenses. And mostly for the people who have kids, they would actually do the best that they can to make that happen. So I won't negate that a lot of people. Well, I'll say a lot of people probably won't, but I'm sure there are going to be more people than I think would actually take on these particular positions.
Mhm. Yeah.
because oh, because like you heard in Florida, they were actually going to plan on lowering the working age to
Mhm.
16. But I know here in Maryland, they got we got workers permits. You can start working at the age of 14, so you can start working in middle school before you even get a job. So, which I think is actually pretty cool, as far as teaching people how to deal with their money and investing and everything like that to make their own money, as long as they got the consent from their parents. So
Yeah.
it really depends.
Yeah, I heard you, well, I guess you were chatting in Debt Free Dad's, chat the other night about that. 'Cause I'm like, "I knew this already." And it was from you. I heard this.
Oh. I forgot
Um,
about that. Yeah.
yes, yes. Um So, what else? What else? Oh, okay, so I was driving, on the highway. This is a couple maybe 2 weeks ago, and I noticed the billboards were saying from the car dealerships, like, "Get in here before the tariffs hit."
Mhm.
And, that's a larger expense. But I was also just watching something on TikTok, and it was a interview of someone that owns a beauty supply store, and she was saying pretty much my entire store is stocked from China, the country that is not, that as I said, we're hitting harder as far as these tariffs goes. And it's the hair, it's the chemical products, it's just everything across her store pretty much comes from China. And she was saying she doesn't know how much of an increase it's going to be, but obviously, whether it's 25%, 30%, she's not sure. None of our paychecks are going up by by these amounts.
Yes.
And obviously, we wanna continue. I'm using this example because I like to use regular examples. We're not always buying a phone or a computer or a car or needing, extensive car repairs. But getting your hair done, this is something that is a more regular thing. I was talking to my daughter about it. She just got her hair done. We had to buy she was adding some extensions in. So with that, whether it's things that I provided for the appointment or that the stylist or the salon is going to be purchasing to use on your style,
Mhm.
different elements. I'm not going to get into the details because it might confuse some people, but all of these different things, when their costs are going up by these percentages, they're going to have to then pass it on to me, the consumer, because what else can you do? And of course, the person that they were interviewing in this that owns the beauty supply store was saying there's no way that I could absorb that percentage increase across the board. I am going to try to shift my suppliers, but that's also something new to me because she's saying I'm going to try to explore India and Cambodia and Vietnam, for example, but that doesn't happen overnight. And they and who and assuming that everyone else, all the other beauty supply stores are in the same boat as her. They might be trying to do the same. And so in order to save on costs. So she's just in a place now where she just doesn't know. But
Yeah,
just
one of because I can tell you this from my own business, like I resell these shirts on my website.
mhm,
So I'm going through Printful. So the reason why I use Printful because they tag up with Amazon and Walmart.com and all these other platforms. But also they sent me a letter saying like, hey, the price hasn't gone up yet, but plan for the price to go up about 30% on all the products that are in your store. And I was like, okay, what do I sell now? Because at this point, I have so much merch on the website. I'm like, so I just drop it down to like maybe two or three things, which is like a mug, a shirt, and a hoodie. Just leave it at that, um, and just kind of let it ride. Or go ahead and jack the price up as much as I can to just make it even, and so that I can say like, hey, my price hasn't changed because it's already like I'll take the 30% hit so that people can get the products that they need.
mhm.
I don't know. It's a decision to make, but I mean, that's the notifications that's going out from people who do their own stuff. So they should be
Okay.
getting notified from the suppliers about that.
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying. So you have to make the decision. Are you going to lower your price, take less, or eliminate some of those higher priced items? Okay, so everyone's pretty quiet in the chat today. Guys, you have any questions or comments or thoughts on tariffs before we get into the main subject of the day? Let us know. So, and thank you everyone that is tuning in. Let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name in the chat. How do you
What?
say?
What, Kalik?
Khalik and Rob, thanks for tuning in. Uh, you have the same timer as me about take a station break, but
Yeah.
you must have a different timing because mine hasn't come up yet. But since I'm seeing it, I'm going to take a quick station break. If you weren't here at the top of the show, I am Lisa J. Stocks, and today I am dual streaming with Anthony from About That Wallet. So if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to both of our channels. If you're watching on Anthony's side, um, check me out, and Anthony is tagged in my description. So,
Yeah. And I guess for me, I like this. So Anthony from the host of the About That Wallet podcast, where we go live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I have a monthly newsletter. This is a break session, if you don't mind me, Lisa, dropping things over here.
your monthly newsletter, yes, go on.
Oh, yes. Well, with my monthly newsletter, we talk about what's it call it? So we talk about different trading. I guess you could say library, not the library, dictionary. No, terms. There we go. We talk about like different terms for the stock market. Do AI prompts, help you with your taxes. So that's always going on. And then talk about the latest episodes that were dropped for the prior month so that you can go on and stay locked in with all the information that you need.
Okay, okay. And make sure you put on that notification bell so you can keep up with all of our videos and live streams. I do not have a definite schedule, but I do try to stick to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday for a live check in with the community. So, are we ready to get on to our main topic of the day?
I am ready.
Okay, okay. So, we started off just chatting a little bit about some updates on what's going on with these tariffs and what the stock market was doing since Liberation Day. So, but really, what I wanted to talk about and what Anthony suggested was our portfolio moves in 2025, especially what maybe not especially, but just in general. But it's been even tougher to navigate once these tariffs are being put into place and what's been going on in the month of April. So handling this market, you have to have the mind for it. You have to have a plan because crashes don't destroy your wealth. Our reactions and our behavior and how we go about handling them and navigating them is what is going to impact our potential to build wealth long term. And I've been saddened because I've seen a few people say that, they sold. I've seen people make comments on my videos saying, just, sell it all. And that's not my approach. And at the same time, um, I want to encourage those of you that might be behind in your investing or not investing yet to see the opportunity to get into good, sound, long term investments and not think I need to hold on and wait until there is a more safe, stable, settled time. Because right now, when things are low, we're supposed to think of the concept of buy low and sell high. And if you're going to hold out and wait for the market to get back to those highs, you're missing out on what's going on right now if you like I said are behind in your investing or not really far into your investing journey. So, anything else you want to share about before we get into the details of particular stocks on just a money mindset to have or that you are trying to convey through your channel, your newsletter, the things that you're putting out right now, Anthony?
Yes. So one of the things is that you have to realize that there's realized gains and unrealized gains and losses. So what does that mean? That means that a realized gain is when you actually sell your stock portfolio, whatever which stock you want to do. That means that you're actually realizing that particular gain. If it's considered a loss, that means that you're actually sold below than what you purchased. That is considered, a realized loss. And that actually comes into play when you actually go to file your taxes. Now, a lot of people talk about, buying now, hurry up and buy now, sell later. But then it goes back to your moral values. Are you in for the long haul or are you in for the day or two? And when you think about that, you need to think about your taxes and the impact of that. When you do it within that year, within 365 days, that is considered you're actually getting taxed higher than if you were to wait 366 days so that you can go ahead on and be, it's called a capital gains tax if you were to look it up that way. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but these are the things that you need to look into, talk to your tax professional about it. But that's the mindset that I'm in, is to realize like, hey, the market is down, everything's on sale. Think about it like when you go to, I won't say Target, but if you go to your local mom and pop store, you know that they usually have a t-shirt for $20 and they put it on sale for $15. Think about it that way. It's an unrealized gain or loss because you just saw the value change, but you haven't bought the shirt yet. Or if you bought the shirt at $20 and it dropped down to $15, it's okay. You didn't do anything. So that's the way how I look at it, in the way that I hope a lot of people try to look at it, is that, hey, it's on sale. You can go down and purchase it. It's the same way how it was back in 2020. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it
Agreed.
there.
Agreed. And I had someone, we both do a little bit. Okay, so what percentage would you describe yourself as investor versus trader?
Can you explain the difference?
How much, okay, what are you holding? Like, do you think like 95% of what you do is just buy and hold? Or is it a high percentage of what you're doing is just focusing on retirement as opposed to those, the leaps and the options and the things that you're
Gotcha.
gonna sell short term, whether it's just shares or options? What percentage would you describe that you are trader versus investor? That's
I would say at this point, I am about 10% far as a regular day to day trader. Even though it's kind of high for me, but I would plan on lowering that later. But for right now, that's where I'm at because long term play is inside my company's 401k. But I feel as though the that is something that I'm looking forward to. So once I hit the 1.2 million, I'm retiring at that point. 1.2, 1.5 million is all I need to live off of from a long term play. But short term play, I'm just seeing what the market can happen, so I can help educate people on how to take the steps forward to start investing on their own, and then how that they can utilize their funds or their gains for day to day living.
okay. Okay. So we're similar. That's the way I kind of describe myself too, as like maybe 5 to 10% trader versus investor. I just wanted to have an idea on that because I don't think I knew that for sure. I wasn't just asking just to ask. I really
Well,
didn't know
no,
that about you.
I didn't know
But
what you meant by
yeah.
trader versus
Mhm.
investor. I wasn't sure what you meant by that.
Okay. Okay. Um, so let's start talking about how we've been managing this month, or do you want to start with 2025 as a whole?
Um, I mean, this month is halfway there. I mean, we can go both. Don't matter.
Okay. So did you do any investing like but after Liberation Day? That Thursday, Friday, or last week Monday, Tuesday, the 7th and 8th, before this 90-day tariff. What did you do? Did you have any investments going on in that time frame?
Yes, the
Okay.
only one that I did was because I was watching your video. Thank you. And you were talking about Schwab, and I went on ahead purchased Schwab. Was it SCHD, and I got it at $25. Now it's up to 26. So thank you.
Okay. I also on last week Monday, that was one of my investments. I picked up, I think, 12 shares, SCHD, below $25.
Nice.
Also, yes. So I added about $300 worth to my portfolio, got me over the 50 share mark. I don't have a huge portfolio. When it comes to my dividend portfolio, it's in my taxable account. Um, but I do share some elements of my retirement account also. So um, do you go about uh, putting in limit orders, or do you just check the chart, or was it just kind of a time frame where you feel like I can't go wrong? I'm not going to try to time the market. I'm just going to pick it up right now.
I did a market opener. So I was like, because I woke up early around like 4 o'clock, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go down and knock it out, and do a before the market open,
Mhm.
and just did a limit trade right then and there. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And so SCHD. So what I did last Monday when I before the market opens, I jumped on and I did a quick video for my members, letting them know everything. Everybody's portfolio is different, but I gave a breakdown of what I was going to be focusing on, where I thought I was lacking in my portfolio, some positions that I wanted to build up. And on Monday, I kind of just shopped like you. I just kind
mhm.
of, when the market opens, I just bought the SCHD and a few other things just at the price I wasn't gonna. But then Tuesday, I got into that. Let me see if I could put the limit orders in. All of my limit orders filled by the end of Tuesday. If they hadn't, I
Wow.
would have adjusted them. But I put in my limit orders and I posted those also to my members so that they could see. And it was funny. I had just put out a post on some that filled and one had not filled. My Amazon had not filled.
Mm.
And it got later into the afternoon and then they came down to the price that I wanted and it filled. So yeah, but I wasn't going to be over here trying to hold out and let too much time pass. And I'm glad that I did that because really after midday on Wednesday, things shifted. They then came back down again by the next day, but still, I'm glad that I said in last week's Sunday's live that after the live before on Sunday night, last Sunday night, that I was going to be putting attention to figuring out what my strategy, how if I had whatever money I had, what percentage was going where. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that I
So
did that.
I was looking into because I'm heavily focused like on my discretionary funds. It's mostly in quantum. So because of that, the market has been in its favor over this time frame. So I would say maybe I didn't really lose, but I'm still up. But overall from my gains, I would say is that it's down about like 30% roughly.
Mhm.
Um from like $28. I'm thinking about IONQ for right now. From like $28 down to like $24 now. So it's not that big of a loss. Just on the value of the stock, but I'm all in with this particular company because one, it's local to Maryland, and two, it's been an ongoing thing. And since I've been invested with them since they were like $2 to $3, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
Mhm. So you're deep in profit. It's not a concern to you. You make sure to send me the ticker symbols of anything that you mentioned in case anybody wants to look it up, because we we did not do much planning and preparation for today's live.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put it in the chat as I talk about them.
Okay, great. So a brother of a certain age is saying 1.5 million sounds like a nice retirement bundle. So, how do you have an idea of what your monthly what you intend on drawing monthly from that in retirement?
Yes, so I'm looking to withdraw about anywhere between $2,500 to $2,600 a month. Because I figured once I'm retired, which means that my housing is taken care of, my cars are taken care of, all I have is just property taxes, and like I don't have to really work. My living expenses day to day is going out to eat. Really, that's the most thing I'm gonna spend out on. And I'm not gonna spend $2,600 going out to eat every month. Like, come on. So with that being said, um, 1.5 is good enough for me. Now,
Mhm,
some call it lean fi, which is financial independence, which means like you can just kind of, you can do that. Then there's fat fi, which means like you bringing in way more than what your living expenses are, um, just because you can, because your assets are paying you more, and you're just kind of retired at this point, which means that you don't retired, not retired, which means that all of your stuff is paid for, and you don't have to rely on any company to work to make your income to make ends meet at that point.
mhm. Okay, thank you for putting more context to it because some people think $1,000,000, like, if I won $1,000,000 in the lottery or if I whatever, like, it's a lot of money, but when you say you have 1,500,000 and you plan on using 25 to $2,600, I like hearing the backstory of that to give people the real picture of how to plan for retirement and be able to we don't know how long we're going to be around for, but that sounds really realistic. I thought you
Yeah.
were at least going to say I thought you were going to say a slightly higher number. Maybe
Three million.
no, no, no. I thought you were going to say
Oh,
a higher monthly amount than
oh.
25, 2,600. But yeah, um, I love to hear it. I love to hear the plan and, your whole thought process around it. And this is in addition to having a paid off housing, lower expenses there as far as, obviously I always say, when you're older, I don't know what you, if you're going to hopefully, you have to make sure to situate yourself so that, you're not having to if you are still living in a home where there is snow to do and lawn to do and stuff like that, you're going to have that expense. If not, you need to be living somewhere where all of that is included, but then you're obviously going to be paying some common charge or fees and, insurance, different things always. So we have to be ready for those costs that don't go away.
Yeah, because I can tell you this is that the person that cuts the yard, I pay him about $70 to cut the yard every time, which is like
Mhm,
every 2 weeks. And then that's seasonal. And then when it comes to snow, I can get out there and shovel myself. It's not that big of a deal. But
mhm.
if need be, he said he'll come out and do that too. And I was like, all right, for $50, he'll do that. So it's not like it's a big expense, but it is an expense nonetheless. But that's the reason why I'm saying like $2,500 a month when everything else is said and done is really not that much. And also, you can do a backdoor Roth at the beginning of the year, so it doesn't seem like you make an income anyway. And then just take the money out as you need it. So
Okay,
you have plenty of options. Well, that's just only two options that I'll just share, but there's other options that you can do once
okay.
you start withdrawing some of those funds.
And backdoor Roth, that's having a traditional Roth and then transferring it to no.
Having a traditional retirement account, the IRA, and then you taking your IRA contributions and putting it into a Roth so that
Okay,
you don't have to pay the taxes when taking the money out from your IRA.
okay, and that's mostly, uh, eh, something that is seeked out if you are at a higher, income level.
Mm-mm, you can
No?
do it. You can do it at any
What
level.
oh, okay. I won't get into that right now.
Okay.
Maybe another show when we're more prepared for it. But
Okay.
let me take a look at the chat. Thank you everyone for tuning in. So, Key is touching on this was back at the 326 a few minutes ago. The key difference between an investor and a trader lies in their time horizon and approach. Yes, yes. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Investing with Rod, Blessed Life Journey. Let's see who else. Stock Talk. David, I could live off 1.5 million definitely with dividends rolling in. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
But yeah, I guess it depends. Because if you do a self-directed IRA, you can do that. You can do that now even. And then if you do a what you call just your basic investments, you can do that too. So for some of the people who don't know what a self-directed is, it's just that when you leave a company and remember, like, look at your past jobs that you've been to. A lot of people haven't done this. Is to look at what investments companies that they were invested in, make sure that they put those over and transfer those over to um, your current investment firm. You'd be surprised on how much money is out there. You might even have like $2,000, $3,000, but the fact of the matter is that it's your money. So, like what JG Wentworth or something like that. Get your money now. It's my money,
Mhm.
and I want it now. So, you put in the work, get your money. So once you transfer that money to an account, it becomes a self-directed IRA, and then that means that you can invest it into whatever you want at that point. And you can even do investments into properties. You can start actually pulling that out to other assets, so you're not taxed on those as well. So it's a way to do it.
Okay. Okay. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to give the live a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I am Lisa J. Stocks here with Anthony from About That Wallet. Have that notification bell so that you can keep up with all of our videos and live streams. And feel free to ask any questions and comments. We will be checking the chat. So, any other investment that you want to share? Any specifics on any ETFs, REITs, something more,
Yeah.
maybe um, more in line with what the viewers might be investing into?
Yeah. So I'm gonna run down the quantum ones because some people aren't familiar with a lot of them. So I use IO and Q. It's one of them. The other one is QUBT, which is stands like, I guess the company is called Quantum Computing Inc. But they focus on photonics company that provides quantum machines to commercial and government markets in the U.S. Then invested in a lot of times you might hear them call us D Wave, D Wave Quantum, but their ticket symbol is QBTS as in Sam. And they actually develop and deliver quantum computer systems to and software and services worldwide. So they actually have been pretty popular lately. The other company that's also in quantum, this is the last one that I have, which is RGTI. I think you've mentioned it once, but it's Riggedy Computing.
Mhm.
Mhm. And they build quantum computers and super conducting quantum processors in the US and international. So the reason why I'm doing all four of them is because it's hitting from the personal computing to the commercial side of the house, and then also through the government. So I'm trying to get all three of them. So since I've been investing in them, I'd say they've been doing really well. IO and Q is in Maryland, and then right behind them, which is in Virginia, is QUBT, and that's the reason why I put them there because QUBT has been riding the coattails of IO and Q. So that's the reason why I invest with both of those. I know it's not a good strategy, but hey, this is for educational purposes only anyway. So, I mean,
And
Lisa, you
these are all investments for you. Yes, okay. Not trades. No stop loss on. Long-term holds.
long term holds
Okay.
because I'm doing dollar cost averaging, which your audience is familiar with. So that's the reason why I'm keeping up with these.
Okay. All right.
I could talk about some metals. Like I'm only in 7, so it's not that many. So the metals I'm doing is gold, which is NGD, which is Nancy Gold Delta, NGD. And then I got a REIT. I think you've mentioned this before already, which is IRM, Iron Mountain. So with them, they just a data management company. which is pretty cool. But I always known them as like a paper shredding company. I don't know. I see their trucks all the time. So I was like, well, there goes my money going to work. And then I do space. So this one is called Rocket Lab, RKLB. And they just kind of help launch and service, space activities and space computing. So I was like, all right, nice and easy. So I'm just trying to focus most of my stuff is into the future. And most of these stocks aren't really that expensive either. I'll say, if anything, $25 and under.
So, would you share an investment that you're doing? I know you said that these are all investments, these are long term holds for you. But when it comes to retirement, can you share what you might be doing over there that might be something that we are more in tune with, like a target date fund or Fortune 500, S&P 500 type of investment, anything like that? Or are all of your investments pretty not so mainstream, not
Um,
Amazon?
well, because I'm in the government, we're limited to, I would say, like 10 different shares. And so those are the long term plays. Again, this is just for education purposes. This is my setup. Dave Ramsey has his own setup for people that are in the government. I do like his setup. It's actually pretty clean. But the one that I do is 90% in the C fund. Let me get to the TSP, so y'all can know what those are directly. Um, so the C fund, directly off the tsp.gov website, is opportunity gains, blah, blah, blah. Oh, invest. They don't really. It'll be nice if they actually say what the heck is in this thing, but it's mostly like the S&P 500. It's really, that's what it is. So it's
Okay.
just very flexible with all the things in there.
All right. I know I'm throwing out things, like I said, that we didn't prepare for, so I'm sorry if I have you searching around for things that you don't have handy.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then the last one is the L fund, which is a life cycle fund that the government has. So I always move mine because there's a new one that comes out every 5 years, and I always move it to the latest one because it's the more aggressive side of the house. So if you in the government looking for companies to deal with, then yes, they got the L, the G. I'm sorry, the L funds, which is all the life cycle funds. Then you got your G fund, the F as in Frank fund, the C fund, S as in Sam fund, and the I fund. So you have those different options there.
okay. Okay. So we have a comment from the one saying, with a $5 million investment portfolio and a 7% dividend yield, you could potentially generate 350K annually. Yeah, if
I don't
we
want to stay in the government that long. Like, because once I hit my 1 point, because maybe later that's in like a whole nother fund, but for the initial, for me to stop, I'm going at 1.5. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can deal with the lean side that you were describing there,
Mhm.
not the fat fire. Uh, I just wanna get by, uh, keep the lights on.
Yes.
Uh, a little better than that, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Alright.
Oh,
So,
somebody said it's been a while since I've been on. How long has it been? Oh,
uh
investing
And
with
so
Rod.
Investing Rod said, "Good to
Yeah.
see you again, Anthony. It's been a while." I don't know what he means by "it's been a while," but yes, you visited, at the beginning of the year, early January, as far as our last collaboration. Oh, no, that's not true, because I think after that we did a Thursday night, but I'm not sure if
That's
that was
right.
on both of our channels or if that was just over on yours.
I
Um,
think it
but
was mostly on mine. I don't think
but we
you.
definitely did a nice budgeting show back in January, which I may reshare in case you guys missed it. Um, yeah, Anthony was leading. I was like, "Anthony, I have all these questions, but you're answering all the questions before I even get to them."
Oh, good.
But and I've also been on Anthony's show before too, and back in 2024. Um,
Guess we gotta come back for another pre-recording
okay.
whenever you're ready.
Whenever you invite me.
Okay, I'll send you an invite soon.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So I don't have much else. I just, if anybody has any specific questions on, I just want to continue. I know it's rough. I want to continue to be here and just, I'm going to make videos. I'm not going to stop making videos, even if my portfolio is down, even if, it is what it is. And this is a part of investing. And I am a long-term investment investor. So I'm not going to be shaken out of anything. I'm not going to get turned off to it. I'm not going to stop investing while the market has pulled back because I know that, I know the big picture and I know that my goals and I'm not there yet. I'm still in the building phase. So I'm just going to keep going, even though it is tough to see certain positions down significantly. Now, I look at my portfolios all on a very regular basis daily. I don't I'm going to be having a very bad day if I
Oh
don't have
no.
time to look at my portfolios. Um, and as far as what happened, I didn't share this part of the story. What When I found out about this, the pause on um, the 90-day pause on tariffs on Wednesday afternoon, I had actually tuned in to two of my mentors that I follow for potential live trades. I had tuned into one at 9:30. I had popped in, I was listening in on that while I was doing other things, but listening in. And then I jumped over to a different person at 10:30 the same morning on Wednesday morning. And then midday I had to go out. And while I was out, my phone alerts just blew up. It was like everything. Uber moved up significantly. Amazon,
Oh
everything
wow.
just moved up. I said, I had to, as soon as I was driving, as soon as I got to a parking lot, I was like, I have to understand what is going on. And I saw that this 90-day pause had hit and the market just shot up. But I
Well,
was
I laugh at that about about when the movement up, air quotes here, is because when you think about it from the beginning of the year to now, it might have moved up, but like really like 1 or 2%. When you really put it in the context, it didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like a
yeah.
huge like, hey, we back to January
No,
levels.
definitely not, and it pulled back, the next day, but,
Mhm.
it was nice to see a little
Little hope.
5,000, a little boost there, and especially nice to know that I did my shopping on Monday and Tuesday. I did my investing, and then you don't know. We don't know when. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm no chart goat. I'm not trying to time everything when it comes to the market. But I am using my best judgment and keeping my eyes open on those red days, on the days when I think this is a day where I'm not going to do my standard dollar cost averaging. I'm going to go as hard as my budget will allow for because of what I think is occurring on this particular time frame. And that's where I was at last week, Monday and Tuesday in my mindset. So
Yeah, that's really good that you took that initiative, and I'm glad that you have a budget to invest. Off to the side. I'm curious. Do you put like $1 per paycheck or something like that to budget for your investments, or how do you? Um, I guess you could say create your seed fund.
well, what we're talking okay, so outside of the 401k that just comes out of your paycheck, the other things, I just kind of have to play it by ear right now. My budget is very tight right now, so I am sticking still with my $10 a day into VTI, but all of the
Okay.
other things, I just play it by ear. I can't say that I'm not in a place right now where I'm putting a definite say this much into my Moo portfolio, this much into my Weeble portfolio. I put a substantial amount into my Weeble portfolio last summer, And some of that is still in cash, but that's because I do options trades. And at times, some of the contracts could be very expensive, even for one contract. Never mind if I want to buy, say, 5 contracts that might be a few $100s each, or I might want to buy one contract that's $1,000. I like having that flexibility. So I do keep some cash there, at least a couple of thousand, in order to be able to do that. So,
I
depending
mean,
on the time frame.
the reason why I asked is because a lot of people are feeling tight right now. So, it's good that you share like how you doing it because I'm just curious because I know for me, like I even slide over like maybe $20 a paycheck just to kind of keep it something in there until I see like, okay, the market's in my favor. Let me go down and buy extra couple shares.
Yeah. Usually I have some money sitting there, but I also have instant deposits
Mm,
available to me. So even though the money didn't physically get from my bank over to my investment account, they allow me to trade based on it because I've had these accounts for several years now. So I don't know if everyone has that available to them, but even if I am running a little low, if I do a deposit, they're going to allow me to use that money automatically,
that
is what
makes
I'm
sense.
saying. So,
Okay.
I know I definitely have that with all the accounts I have that because right now, like I don't have my $50 in my public account to do my $10 daily because that's an account I don't usually have a lot of money sitting in. But I know even if I do it tomorrow morning, I'll be able to do my investment tomorrow. It will be respected. So I guess this is one of those things where you, as long as you never bounce the check or do anything wrong, but
Totally
yeah,
agree.
I've always it might not be 100% of the money, but enough of the money is available to me to trade automatically. So I don't have any real stresses. Like last week I wasn't stressed, but I was like, I want to make sure to get my money over there because I
Yeah.
felt like I don't want to miss adding full shares. This is not going to be a $20 into Amazon, a couple dollars into Microsoft, Google. It's not going to be those small ones. It's going to be if I can add 2 or 3 shares of this and that and the other. So,
Yeah, get it while it's on sale.
yes.
And I want to shout out to Rod. I didn't know that you had a different account. But okay, yes, I recognize you now. Obviously, it's very small on my end as far as your image, but I remember you, sir. Good to see you from Vern's channel. Yeah.
Yeah, and that Rod has 5 channels,
Oh my
a
gosh.
full point blank experience. So, I understand the confusion there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Rod should have us on over on Investing with Rod channel.
Oh yeah, one day. Yeah, those over there.
He's been going live a lot lately. I'm
Mm.
just inviting myself over there, just like I tried to invite myself over to your channel.
Well, the
Um,
one said that he will. I can't say he or she would like you to have more live shows. So I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I I don't know. I don't know. It depends. It's
You
it's
should.
it's it keeps we will see. We will see. You get me 3 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time. More than
Uh,
that, we will see, we will see. It is the one good thing is, you do your research, you get up here, you do your thing. There's no editing, but
True.
it's unforgiving when you have that space or any struggle or just the stress of whatever happens, happens, and that's that.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
Anthony pointed out a typo on one of my videos one day, and I said I went
you
and I
got to bring this up now.
yes, right. We're keeping it real, no?
Okay. I mean, it's just it's fine.
So, yeah, so I'm like, the way Anthony talks to me and approaches things, he sends me this little message, and I'm like, Anthony, just tell me, Lisa, you got misspelled something in the video. Just tell me. You're beating around the bush.
Fine. I'll be more direct next
Okay.
time.
Okay. All
And
right. I don't need the directness from everybody in the world, but you could
well,
tell
for
me
me, I need you need
you
to.
felt something wrong. I went and I blurted out after Anthony alerted me to my error. Thank you for that.
You're
No
welcome.
problem. There's no problem. I appreciate you giving me that feedback.
Yeah, creator to creator. It wasn't. It was out of love, not malice. So. Oh,
Okay.
and sorry, the one. Yes, he. Okay.
He. Okay. I was like, what is that? It's the exclamation points. I was like, does that say hell?
Home.
What's going on here? Okay.
Yeah, it must be even smaller on your end. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
well,
I appreciate you having me on. And one of the things I do want to let the person that's listening to this live to know is that Lisa, you even mentioned it on my show. It's the first thing that I have clipped out for your episode is that you can start investing with $1. And you don't have to look at it like, hey, I don't have enough for the full share. You can do partial shares. And I'm glad that a lot of the companies are allowing people to do that. So start your portfolio today if you haven't already, and just get started. A lot of these tools already have a lot of education. You can look at the educational videos. They even have a lot of it on YouTube, beyond Lisa's platform. And Lisa is doing an amazing job with her work and everything else with the edits and the zoom ins, the zoom outs, the pans. I was like, okay, Lisa. And then, so if you need more education and it just seemed like Lisa's not going live enough, utilize your brokers. They have the information there.
okay. But yes, please watch the recorded videos. It's not just about the live.
All right. So true.
But yeah, no, I love what you said there, because investing is for everybody on whatever your budget is. Teach your kids, let them do it too, and yeah, the fractional shares. I want everyone to know that that exists, and I don't take it lightly. It's not a joke to me. Just because I'm investing $5 or $10, you keep going. You keep going with that amount, and you will see what it can turn into. Imagine that you start doing that when your child is a newborn, even small amounts, it's really going to add up over time. So yeah, don't feel held back by your budget. Don't feel that, some of these apps, it's not a game. This is real money. This is real money that I'm putting on these apps that I am investing into. I do my retirement accounts and my daughter's accounts. They're all at Fidelity, but I do taxable accounts on um, accounts that I've mentioned, like on Moomoo and Weeble, but it's all real money, and I take it all very seriously. And this is my way of building wealth and creating financial freedom. Hopefully, one day, full financial stability for myself. So, yes.
I mean, you work hard for the money.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, put it to work too. I mean, it likes to have friends. So they want to go live. They want you to go live more often. So, you know, get some more.
What are you talking about, Anthony? You're losing me
Oh,
here. Hi, Chocolate
oh.
Shop. And hey, David. Yes, David is agreeing that it adds up over time for sure. Yes.
Mhm.
Um, and I know David also shares, like what you were describing, that, when you change jobs, it might be an opportunity to um, definitely keep that money invested. Don't take any tax hit or, create any tax implications, but you might be able to move it into something different that was not in line with what was allowed when you were at that particular company. And you can then do different things in order to, with the goal of having a better return on your money than you potentially were when you were limited into what that particular company allowed for. So I
Yeah.
think that that has been a way that he has been able to build his portfolio and then get to the point of doing covered calls and different things and not being limited. But, this is something that we're all facing a lot of, many of us, where you're not staying at the same job for your entire career. You're laid off, or you may have to move, relocate, something happens, but layoff is a huge part of what is leading to a lot of people changing jobs frequently, in my opinion. What do you think, Anthony?
You're right on the money with that one. One of the things that I do want to add on, because they're doing a reduction in service or reduction in force, so you might hear a riz or riff in language when it comes to the government, because Doge has been cutting a lot of the, or pretty much shrinking the government, and doing so. And I want to bring this up because a lot of people, a lot of friends that you might know, have lost their jobs. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know is what to do with their retirement accounts and where to go. So when you start seeing the stock market dropping, it's because a lot of those people are taking those or early retirement. They are pulling their money out because they gotta survive for like the next whenever they can find another job. Some people are fully retiring. Some people are looking for other jobs, and so what you call voluntary, what they call it, they leaving their jobs voluntarily quitting or resigning. That's what it is. So when you look into these different things and why the market is going to be low for a while, it's because everybody's going to start pulling out their money. Now, OPM, for those of you who don't know, I think it's the operation something something. I forgot what OPM stands for, but they actually take about like 3 months or so before they can actually start pulling out that money so people can retire with. And if you're not familiar with that, which means that we still got about 3 months or so to really see how the market is going to react when people going to start pulling out their money from the different markets and these different companies. Because even though you're doing it in retirement, um, these funds or whatever, these companies are still invested in individual stocks. So keep that in mind. These ETFs that are out there, these index funds, these are actually investing into the individual stocks. So keep that in mind, and what's to come. That's the reason why I said I'm pretty much hoarding cash right now to really see what's going to happen in the next 3 months, to kind of see what's going to happen. I'm really curious. So mark my words. I think we're going to have a huge dip in 3 months, which is what was that? That should be like July. I'm
Okay.
I think I'm gonna put it in July. We're gonna have a dip around that time frame.
All right. Well, maybe I should have you back then so we could see if your prediction is accurate and how that portfolio building has progressed with that cash that you're holding on to. But yeah, I love to hear it. You have a plan, and we all should have a plan on what we're doing and how we plan on striving to get our portfolios to where we want them to be.
Yes.
But
All right. Sorry
all
about that.
right.
I know we're a little over.
Yes.
Apologize.
So thank you for making time today to join me on this live. We're coming up on our hour. So I don't see any other questions in the chat. Guys, let us know if you would like to well, you've already let me know that you wanna see more lives from me. Let Anthony know if you wanna see more lives from him, and let me know if you want me to reach out to Anthony for future collabs if you enjoy our episodes. So, guys, I will see you again next Sunday, and thank you so much for tuning in. Any final words, Anthony?
I just want to say that you have what it takes to be successful. Do not take that because the way you came from is determining on where you are today. You have the enough information at your fingertips to move the needle into the direction that you want it to go to. Put your blinder on. Remember, this is your family race, not everybody else's race. So focus on you. You got this.
Yep, agreed, and I will see you next week.
All right.
Take care.
See ya.